It was non-stop, like, for hours. Like,
we have concealed her identity because she is a minor, 17 years old. Her ordeal began when someone she thought was a friend picked her up to go for a drive. There were others hiding in the car.
They were telling me they were going to break my legs and leave me there.
Accusing her of stealing, she says they beat her entire body. She can't say the rest herself, so she defers to her aunt.
Her face was almost unrecognizable.
As the young women drove her to various locations around the town of Yarmouth in southwestern Nova Scotia, the beating continued. She says they dragged her to the car by her hair, tried to get a dog to attack her, and pulled off her fingernails.
When they tore off her fingernails, her fake fingernails, it actually removed her real fingernail underneath.
Then they went to the home of a 64-year-old woman who is also accused of participating.
They held her head back and they were pouring water all over her face and down her throat because they were threatening to drown her.
5 people have been charged in this case with offenses including aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, unlawful confinement, and uttering threats causing bodily harm. But 2 Nova Scotia activists say there's something missing.
We know of cases where they've been told that they weren't allowed to say torture in the courtroom, even though that's what they endured.
For the last 25 years, Linda McDonald and Jean Sarson have been helping victims of torture and traveling the world speaking about it, including at the United Nations. They don't want to minimize assault, but say torture is a different kind of trauma. They've been lobbying the Canadian government to include non-state torture in the criminal code. They say it's not about the punishment, but about validating survivors.
So if we don't have a law, and if a person isn't allowed to denounce the people for what they've done to them, the perpetrators, then it's like dismissing really what happened to you.
The Justice Department declined an interview, but in a statement, a spokesperson says there are already several crimes in the criminal code that prohibit violence against a person in the private sphere. He goes on to say creating a separate offense for private, non-state torture could have negative impacts on Canada's contribution to the international effort to prevent torture by creating 2 definitions.
I just want to be able to feel safe.
This young girl says regardless of what the law says, she feels she was tortured. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.